This is Radio Plasma, a space dedicated to the exchange of ideas, conversations, stories, music, performances, and randomness. Listen at radioplasma.com. Also, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher.
That's it. So here we are at Millpond.Live in Easthampton with Vox Sambou. And we just have experienced such powerful display of talent and energy and beauty through music.
Thank you so much. Thank you
for giving us this amazing experience on what it means: fusion, representation, heritage, history. And if it is hard to talk about colonization, but if anything positive comes out of this, is this manifestation of living through being colonized and creating out of this awful situation something as beautiful as the music everybody just experienced tonight at Millpond.Live.
Thank you so much. We had a lot of fun, and from the beginning, I felt like the people were with us, and the band felt it as well. So we're very fortunate and grateful to share that experience with everybody and with you as well. When I came here, I met you. We started talking, and I felt great from the beginning.
So, what it means to you when we are seeing a world and nations that are so divided and so having such a hard time with what it means to be unified and what it means to be open and receptive and welcoming of diversity. And as someone who comes from a strong heritage and had also to experience migration and assimilation, what it means to you being tonight here in Easthampton, in the United States, with a public and an audience that possibly is experiencing your music for the first time, but you made that connection happen.
Yeah, I think that's a real privilege, seriously, and that's how I see it. I think we don't have any choice now to be together, because with everything that's going on, we have people always talking about division. If you listen like the mainstream media, as if like everybody hate one another. But I know at the end of the day, the majority of people, they love one another. Everybody want like to live in peace. That's the desire. It's like every time I travel, for example, I go to Brazil, all the musicians, people I met with, I'm like, it's the same thing we think we're in Montreal. The same thing when I go to Haiti. Everybody have this, people want to be together. But you have this minority saying that, oh, we're not the same. But at the end of the day, we are the same. Sometimes we speak different languages. But that's why in that song, when I call Diaspora Africain, it's like our origin is from Africa. And we're all human beings. And I think if we joined forces together and just be together regardless. It's like if I can say 2 words in Spanish, you say 2 words in Haitian Creole, and to exchange, to learn from another. I think that's very important, especially at this time, especially when we have our children growing up and they think, oh, I'm not this. No, we're all the same. Like our mothers, our parents, they want us to succeed. That's what every parent wants. We all have parents, you know? So I think in that band, that's the energy we're trying to share with people, and that's how we feel. And on the stage, sometimes I would maybe forget my lyrics. The drummer would call it to remind me, and one supporting one another, and that's what we live in the band, and that's what we want to share with the people. And we try to do it with honesty, and like try to be as authentic as possible, and then be like who we are really. And I think that's what. But one thing that come to my mind, it's really the fact that we all of us, we are very grateful, really, to come. Like you have people like to make this stage for us. Look at even now, people they unloading, put it. They did that for us to give us that exposure. You're here talking to me, make me express myself, and I think that we're very grateful to that because there's a lot of talented people, lots of artists that don't have this privilege, and this is not something we take lightly. And that's why when we have the mic, like when I make a point to say what really important to us, what means to us, to say what, for example, if my mother were able to be on the stage, what she would say, you know, not just me, the ego, you know, like to try to connect with the people. So I think I went a bit longer.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah.
And actually, talking about that representation, you have an amazing ensemble of talented musicians with you. And one thing that I could immediately appreciate is the diversity of talents and also of the representation of different countries and cultures together. Yourself coming from Haiti and now being settled in Montreal, in Canada, you are experiencing what it means to be in a place that multicultural diversity and living together and sharing that heritage and that cultural background with many more is just the natural thing to do. How many countries or ethnicities or representations can you identify in your band right now?
Yeah, I think Quebec is a mixture, and like the drummer, trumpet, Quebec. But we have Mali, West Africa, another Mali, Haiti, and yeah. So it's a representation of what Montreal is, and my neighborhood is in Côte des Neiges in Montreal, and people speak at the minimum 3 languages, you know, French, English, and the mother tongue, and that's why I'm so happy to be able to have that and to also open your eyes to so many different things when you think, I'm so different. For example, I was born in Haiti, and neighboring country is Dominican Republic. All I heard is, we don't like one another. And I come to Montreal, meet Dominican people, and then we eat the same breakfast. It's plátano and eggs, and I'm looking at just like rice and beans, and then we're like, wow. So once you know that, I think there's no way you can have all this prejudice at the end of the day. That I truly believe it's not. When people say, okay, we're all the same, we want peace, it might be cheesy. But that's, for me, it's we men like this. We really are all the same. And with the keyboard player was born in Toronto, Jewish parents. And when I'm playing Haitian traditional music, I'm looking at him. Sometimes he's deeper in it than myself, you know? And there's no way I can take that away from him. Because us, like in the Haitian culture, our revolution was made for that, for inclusion. And that's why in the band, between you and I, it's my face that is in the front, but it's all this guy band. Really. That's why, you know, of course, it's composition, my lyrics, and they understand. That's why I'm trying to share. It's us. Vox Sambou, me by myself is standing here in front of everybody. After 2 songs, we'll be like, okay, you understand, we got enough. You know, but that's what those guys, and that's the honest answer. I wouldn't be able to do that show by myself. And it's as their music as my music, you know. Sometimes when we have, because all the musicians, they play with other projects, and then sometimes my other singer is from Guadeloupe. Like the other day we were in Brazil, you know, we have Guadeloupe, Brazil, we have France, we have even the bass player was from Chile, and then we were playing together. You know, the universal language is music, so It's a it's a very a good experience to have these beautiful human beings, and I'm so grateful for Montreal because of that, because we have that, you know. We don't have to look for it. It's right there now in our culture, in our everyday life. Mhm.
After experiencing the public here in Millpond.Live in Easthampton, how do you feel? What is that you are taking away from this experience performing tonight and seeing an audience that is a mixed one, but is predominantly white location? There are, yes, Latin people like myself and people also from the African American and African representation, but mostly people from white descendants. How do you feel this interaction tonight left something for them as a learning experience after listening to your music?
Yeah, I can only just be happy to have this connection when we were doing the song called 21e siècle, when people were screaming, and I see there's this lady in front of me, and he basically wanting the mic to express themselves, you know, and sometimes people don't have that opportunity to just say express themselves. Maybe they might think, people just look at me and they say, "Oh, he think that's what I think," and this is not what I really think. I think for me, it's good to connect with these people, to get to know our music from Montreal, our music from Haiti, our music from Mali, from West Africa, to say maybe we're not that different, you know, when we, with the music, with the vibration, with the energy, and we're together. It's like when we feeling this rage, we're so comfortable. When you get hurt, and then all you wanna do is to express that, and for me, it's a plus, because we need that unity, and to forget about this division, even to give people a chance to be like, oh, I went to see that band, I felt connected. Let me see more about this culture. Let me try to know more about different acts in my own town. Maybe I would not usually see. I would go discover that. And that's what we hope for people to go and try to get to know another person. Just see somebody talk. You know, I think as much as we have this preconception, we don't talk. This is when we stay in the dark and have preconceived ideas. I think that's what hurt us the most, and to just talk and share things with everybody.
As for the inspiration to create your music and your songs, there is always the representation of what is to send those messages of social justice and denounce the situations that are happening in our world. How do you feel these messages are making an impact in the different communities that are listening to your music?
No, I think that's that's super. He just did something to me. That's what happened with my band. You can never get serious with these guys. No, it's my inspiration. I mean, the first thing, I think, living in a society, it's like you have to be involved. You have to be part of this society. In order for that, you have to express yourself and think how you can better your community. For me, that's the most important thing. And between you and I always, most of the time I'm on my stage, I have a deep connection to my mother. And I always feel like there's a big part of her in me when I'm on stage. And for me, that's the most important thing. You know, sometimes if I'm a bit tired on stage, you know, I'm like, no, you can't afford to be tired, because it's a privilege. Like, you have them, you have to give 100%, because like that's what my mother always gave, you know, 100% for everything she's done. You know, my mother, I'm her seventh child, you know, and then she makes sure that we all have an education where we can be independent for ourselves and she makes so many sacrifices. So for me, I don't think I have any other way is it made to talk about the social injustices, all everything going on. It's for me to, in a way, to pay tribute to her, to all the work that she has done and what she has given. And even when I speak to her today, she's always, so positive, always give me good advice. And so I think that's what my inspiration come from. And because of that, I don't think I can have, any like some sort of like ego thinking about the individual. I think this thing is too important. It's more important than anything. Yeah.
What a beautiful way to honor the legacy of your heritage, of your family, of your roots. And I hope this also becomes a way to inspire more artists and people in general to do the same, because that's you were talking about how much every one of us, we are thinking about the same goals and about being happy on the same level. So if we honor that legacy, our heritage, our cultural background, I guess that will be the perfect way to get started and to be better human beings working together all along, regardless of how do we look or where do we come from.
Yes, I completely agree, because I completely agree. May I have a son, he's just turned 2 years old, and every time I look at him, I'm like, I feel so blessed, and all of us, we are sons as well. That's why like sometimes, it's hard for somebody to wish something bad for somebody, other people's sons, and daughters. I think, this empathy that we need. That's why when you mention about the people that come to see the show, and they all have children as well, they love, and all the communities, they love their children. They want their children to succeed. That's all the parents need. That's all they want. There's no such thing, I love my son more than you love your son. It's really, we are equally the same. And I think it's good that we have this connection to keep talking to people to make them understand. Look, we have no choice but to stay united and just spread the love. Talk about the fact that we can love one another, and we have differences. Sometimes the differences make us grow, but we have to verbalize this love we have for one another. I think that is very, very important. Yes, very. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for giving us this joyful example of what it means to be together through your music, through the unity that you and your group gave us to experience, to be happy, entirely happy and joyful, and feel all together connected with your music. That is something that is only possible when that energy that comes from an honest heart can possibly do.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for your hospitality. From when we start talking, I felt like with this connection. And thank you for giving me the voice, for letting me express myself. And I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Take a listen one more time. I want to see your fingers, everybody. We're in the fight. We have to keep on positive no matter what. Let me see your second like this. Give me some Bryce, some Frost in the front, please. Yo No matter how much they try to keep us down, but we're gonna live forever. There's no way about it, because we come from the resistance. Our roots are so strong. Our roots are so deep. We'll never go